Horses, we want to meet Robin, so let's go have a look.
Excellent.
Okay, we're here with Robin Risso, and I'll tell you, somebody really likes Polaronian over there.
I know. Well, I think she's looking for her moment of fame.
Yeah.
Her 15 minutes on
Right.
camera.
She's ready for a close-up. Yeah.
We did, make sure she looked pretty for you today.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, they are so beautiful, and they are so big, and there really is an immediate connection. As Laura was saying before, it's like an immediate connection. There's no denying that the horse is there.
Yeah. And what's interesting is these horses love to work.
Oh yeah.
So when they know that when Dream knows she's going to be co-therapist, she is super excited.
Really?
And
yeah.
Tilly, who's her companion animal, will sometimes hang her head over the fence like nobody's playing with me.
Oh boy. Yeah.
I'm stuck over here.
Yeah. Oh, they're absolutely beautiful. Now tell us a little bit about how you got involved in the world of therapy and specifically with horses.
So I got licensed quite a while ago.
Mm-hmm.
We'll say that. I don't know if I want on camera how many years ago. And I started working with Laura like 4 years ago. And part of it we realized is that while the work we do in offices is really important and helpful, that it doesn't work for everybody.
Sure, yeah,
and
of course.
For lots of people, the thought of sitting in an office and having intense conversations about super personal things is really hard.
Yeah.
And not really effective for everyone. And so when Laura actually did some research and found this modality, I was like, I'm in.
Yeah.
You mean I get to play with horses for my job?
Yeah, well it really is, and it's almost, and I can see when earlier you both kind of touched on it, the therapy almost takes on its own life, and it's not through a lot of it. There might be guidance from the therapist, but really not a lot of motivation from the therapist.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And the thing about horses is they are considered prey animals, which means they're always very in tune with what's going on around them.
Mm-hmm.
So they are really a nice reflection of what's happening for us. So, like if you're anxious, you're going to see some reactions from them about that.
Oh, sure. Yeah. They say that an animal with eyes on the sides of its head is a prey animal.
That's right.
Like a rabbit or a horse, and then in the front, like a hawk or a wolf is.
That's right.
Yeah. And so they can actually sense when there's like a vibe going on. They're in tune.
Oh, they know about it.
Yeah.
And that's actually a big part of the work. And sometimes that's what we're trying to help is to set up a dynamic where that uncomfortableness that's getting in the way of people in their lives, we try to set up a dynamic so that it'll kind of play out and allow them to experience it in a different way and to start to really heal and maybe have some different insight.
Would you point out to the client that that this is what's happening, that the horse senses your anxiousness, or does the client really kind of get that feeling themselves?
No, if anything, what we'll ask them is what they notice about the horses.
Yeah.
Like what's going on with the horse, that kind of stuff. But depending on the system we're working with and what's going on, Laura and I work together sometimes, and sometimes we work separately.
Yeah.
And depending on whatever the presenting thing is that's going on, is sometimes we create these activities. So you see like all these wonderful things behind us.
I did, yes.
Right? Like including hula hoops.
Right.
And we don't have the horse's hula.
Okay, I was going to ask,
know.
how do you get that hula hoop?
I know, right?
So,
but sometimes we use some of this stuff to help create activities, experiential sort of activities for people, for them to sort of figure out how to manage whatever's going on in a different way.
Yeah.
And whatever we do, it's always to have the horses a part of it.
Yeah.
Sometimes the horses, because they have their own mind, they are part of it in ways that we don't expect. Like we did a demonstration for a group of therapists back in June.
Yeah.
And towards the end of it, they had created this beautiful, nice thing with like all the different noodles and stuff. And our girl Dream walked over into the middle and peed.
Ah. Well, there you.
Right. It's not necessarily something you expect to see in a therapy session, right? But
right. Well.
But it created a lot of opportunity for conversation.
Oh, indeed.
Right?
Yeah.
So I mean, they're animals, so they're going to do stuff, but they're going to be horses.
Now, if we were watching this at home, and from what I understand, there are people that do.
Yeah.
How would one know that this might be the thing for their child or for themselves or something? How would What are some of the things that would present itself that we would kind of have a feeling that this might work?
So we work a lot, and part of it's because of the expertise Laura and I have developed
Mm-hmm.
too. So we work a lot with folks around traumatic experiences, anxiety, certainly with couples, miscommunication stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
it really comes down to the idea of the things that come up in our lives that get in our way and how we struggle to sort of tolerate them and how they impact us physically and how sometimes thought of sitting in an office,
Mm.
right? Like if you have a hard time going to school, you might have a hard time sitting in an office,
Right. If one of the issues is having problem, yeah, that'll be exact. I mean,
right?
and now that makes so much sense. Why did it take this long for it to occur to
Well,
us,
but
right?
no, but I think it's because it's yeah. I mean, it's just it's different. I
Yeah.
also think the reality is having a 1,000 pound animal with you makes you sort of have to be calm and in the moment,
Yeah.
right?
Oh,
Like
indeed.
so, I joke that I do. Laura and I both work with adolescents, and in the
Hmm.
office, they're always wanting to pull out their cell phone and text. They don't text in the paddock.
Yeah. No, I wouldn't think so.
No.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Their attention is focused.
yeah, and the reality is too is it makes therapy fun sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, and for people, and it's not just for people who are horse familiar either. To be clear,
Right.
like this is also really helpful for people who've never been around horses.
Yeah.
Like because this isn't like therapeutic riding. Like a lot of people think about when they think about horses and therapy, they think about therapeutic riding,
Yeah.
which is a wonderful, wonderful thing. But that's not what we do. Doesn't mean that we never ever have anyone on a horse, but
Hmm.
that's most of the time people are just walking around
Sure.
or we have chairs we use, and so we're not
Yeah.
actually putting people in the saddle on the horse during the
Yeah.
session.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna go over and meet the horses.
Good, let's
Let's
go meet them.
go. All right.